Welcome! Happy Winter Solstice Eve. This is Selena Fox, and joining me tonight are Circle Sanctuary ministers and members of our community. We have gathered here to celebrate solstice. We are here in the Northern Hemisphere, and while our evening tonight focuses on longest night in the winter solstice, we also celebrate the other solstice and celebrate all who are joining us live and who will be joining us later when these are archived on Facebook and on YouTube. So for all of you in the Northern Hemisphere, happy Winter Solstice Eve. And for all of you in the Southern Hemisphere, happy Summer Solstice Eve. We began doing winter solstice multicultural celebrations in our earliest days in the 1970s. Last year, for the first time, we had our longest night online. And this year, we come to you live again online. I want to give thanks to Circle Sanctuary ministers Bob Paxton, who's making it possible for us to live stream on the Circle Sanctuary YouTube channel. And thanks to Circle Sanctuary Minister Laura Gonzalez, who's making it possible for us to be also on Facebook at the Circle Sanctuary community page. And I give thanks to all of our presenters for being part of the program tonight. Let us take a few moments now, connect each in our own way with the sacred, with Source, according to our own tradition, path, religion, spirituality, philosophy. We call to the divine as one, we call to the divine as many. We call to the divine as great mother, great father, divine child of light, as great mystery, great spirit. And we create a sacred circle for our longest night ceremony. We honor the sacred north, the sacred east, the sacred south, the sacred west, the sacred planet beneath us, the sacred sky above us, the sacred spirit within us and around us. We honor the sacred earth, the sacred air, the sacred fire, the sacred water, the sacred interconnecting spirit that joins us all together. And we call into our sacred circle the ancient ones, the ancestors, the spirit of the place where we are all joining together, live and later. We call on the spirit of solstice and the spirit of Yuletide. We call on Yuletide divine forms, going by many names across cultures, faith traditions, and philosophies. We honor the divine as one and many. And we envision a great circle of light around us with this solstice candle. And I invite you, wherever you are, to join in this simple solstice circle casting chant. Circle of light, circle of sound, circle of solstice, circle around, circle of light, circle of sound, circle of solstice, circle around, circle of light, circle of sound, circle of solstice, circle around, circle of light, circle of sound, circle of solstice, circle around. So be it. And we begin our journey into this longest night now. Jake will share some poems for us.
Greetings, I'm Reverend Jake, coming to you from what's now known as Chicagoland, the traditional homeland of the Potawatomi people and so many other groups. I'm going to read a poem by Wendell Berry, To Know the Dark. To know the dark. To go in the dark with light is to know the light. To know the dark, go dark. Go without sight and find that the dark too blooms and sings and is traveled by dark feet and dark wings. Now a poem by Stephanie Noble in celebration of the winter solstice. Do not be afraid of the darkness. Dark is the rich, fertile earth that cradles the seed, nourishing growth. Dark is the soft night that cradles us to rest. Only in darkness can stars shine across the vastness of space. Only in darkness is the moon's dance so clear. There is mystery woven in the dark, quiet hours. There is magic in the darkness. Do not be afraid. We are born of this magic. It fills our dreams that root, unravel, and reweave themselves in the shelter of the deep, dark night. The dark has its own hue, its own resonance, its own breath. It fills our soul, not with despair, but with promise. Dark is the gestation of our deep and knowing self. Dark is the cave where we rest and renew our soul. We are born of the darkness, and each night we return to the deep, moist womb of our beginnings. Do not be afraid of the darkness, for in the depth of that very darkness comes a first glimpse of our own light, the pure inner light of love and knowing. As it glows and grows, the darkness recedes. As we shed our light, we shed our fear and revel in the wonder of all that is revealed. So do not rush the coming of the sun. Do not crave the lengthening of the day. Celebrate the darkness here and now, a time of richness, a time of joy. So mote it be.
What a wonderful message. And let us take a few moments and experience the darkness of this longest night. Embrace it. Feel the magic in this cauldron, this womb of this sacred time. And we continue our journey on this longest night. And Lori has some words for us. Lori, who has been with our public, multicultural, interreligious, multilingual, international winter solstice celebration in a myriad of forms over the last several decades. Welcome, Lori.
I welcome being here. I welcome this community at this time of the year, because if there is one thing I need after months of providing words and music for other people, what I need most at this time of the year is stillness. And I relish the many forms of stillness I have enjoyed in this community, as you say, Selena, for decades. So I'm sharing two recollections of stillness from the last year. The first from Tova Martin, a New England writer, to the beauty and the stillness of the winter garden. Even when it is buried, the garden never truly slumbers. Time was, I would have declared winter as the dormant season, when you could simply push the snooze button and disconnect. Wrong! This winter, take time to loosen a muffler and put your nose to inhaling the scents of wood smoke and icicles riding the frigid air. When you walk by a bare naked tree, notice its sinuous bark. Listen to the sound of silence after a blizzard halts the comings and goings of the world for a few hours. Feel the blistering wind on your cheeks. Observe the rolling contours of the land and realize the tracery of your hardscape etched against the drifts. Winter tells you so much about the garden you've created. Listen. In winter, the remnants of the growing season take on a new sense of importance. The sculptural silhouettes of seed pods step out as artwork when they are not competing with the rush of other impulses. Meanwhile, the minutiae step out to take a major role. The twist of a branch, the tracery of a leaf blown onto a frosty path, one sole floret scurrying across the snow. These are winter stories. Winter is about tidbits and snatches of glory. To harvest a frosty sage leaf and savor it as seasoning for a hearty meal, to hear a cardinal inviting its mate to nibble the shriveled berries from a shrub you planted, those are the gifts of winter. Winter is when your hard work provides sustenance for some tiny creature to survive yet another sub-zero night. Winter is when birds chirp in relish over the frozen kale tips unburied by the gale force winds. Even if you rushed through spring, summer, and autumn, winter forces you to stop in your tracks. Take that time to assess and access the land firsthand. Open your eyes, put your nose to the wind, reach out and touch winter. You will be awed, I guarantee. And from a Midwest writer, Barbara Mahaney, Sacred Blessings of the Season, the Stillness of Winter. And she wrote this a year ago. And I was surprised to find after this very unexpected year, how it still resonates. Curious thing this December, more than ever, it is the stillness that speaks to me, that I seek, that some days I grope toward as if blind and making my way to the woods on nothing more than the steadiness of my footsteps and the fine-grained whirl of my fingertips rubbing against the underbrush, telling me I've lost my way. It is as if the deep, dark stillness itself is divining me towards home, which of course it is. It always is. Oh, there's noise all right this December, clanging like a cymbal in my ear, the squawking from the news box, the screeching of the brakes. But I am in my best moments pushing it away. I lift the blinds at night so I can watch snowflakes tumbling. I wind the clock and listen to its mesmerizing tick and tock. I sit nose pressed to frosty panes of glass. I am practicing the art of being still. Stillness, when you look for it, is never far away and not too hard to grasp, but it takes a dose of concentration. Sometimes a stern reminder, I mumble to myself, be still now. It is, in fact, the heart, the soul, that are the vessels of pure stillness. Those chambers deep inside us that allow for the holy to unfold. The birthing rooms, perhaps, of our most essential stirrings. To be at one with all that matters. To begin the pulse beat there where the quiet settles in and the knowing reigns. It is in the stillness that sacred comes.
Thank you, Lori. And a tradition that we have had over the years as part of Longest Night is a tradition that is part of a variety of cultures that celebrate solstice by whatever name around the world. And one of our longtime ministers, Georgette, will have a winter solstice tale for us.
Hello and happy solstice. I'm Reverend Georgette Paxton from Madison, Wisconsin. And today I'll be reading for you an excerpt from an old book titled Wonder Tales from Scottish Myth and Legend by Donald Mackenzie regarding the Scottish Queen of Winter, Bera. Dark Bera was the mother of all the gods and goddesses in Scotland. She was of great height and very old, and everyone feared her. In the days when rivers broke loose and the locks were made, Bera set herself to build the mountains of Scotland. When at work, she carried on her back a great creel filled with rocks and earth. Sometimes as she leapt from hill to hill, her creel tilted sideways and rocks and earth from it into the locks and formed islands. Many islands are spoken of as spillings from the creel of the big old woman in Scotland. The only tool that Bera used was a magic hammer, and when she struck it lightly on the ground, the soil became hard as iron, and when she struck it heavily on the ground, a valley was formed. After she had built up a mountain, she gave it its special form by splintering the rocks with her hammer. If she had made all the hills of the same shape, she wouldn't have been able to recognize one from another. And one of the reasons why Bera made the mountains was to use them as stepping stones. Another was to provide houses for her giant sons. Many of her sons were very quarrelsome, and they fought continually one against the other. Every morning they climbed to the tops of their mountain houses and threw great boulders at one another. And that's why so many big gray boulders now lie on steep slopes and are scattered through the valleys of Scotland. After the mountains were all formed, Bera took great delight in wandering between them and over them, and she was always followed by wild animals. The foxes barked with delight when they beheld her, wolves howled to greet her, and eagles shrieked with joy in midair. Bera had great herds and flocks which she gave her protection, nimble-footed deer, high-horned cattle, shaggy gray goats, black swine, and sheep that had snow-white fleeces. She charmed her deer against the huntsmen, and when she visited a deer forest, she helped them to escape from the hunters. During early winter, she milked the hinds on the tops of the mountains, but when the winds rose so high that the froth was blown from the milking pails, she drove the hinds down to the valleys. The froth was frozen on the crests of high hills and lay there snow white and beautiful. When the winter torrents began to pour down the mountainsides, leaping from ledge to ledge, the people said, Bera is milking her shaggy goats, and streams of milk are pouring down over high rocks. When roused to anger, Bera was as fierce as the biting north wind and harsh as the tempest-stricken sea. Her teeth were red as rust, and her locks, which lay heavily on her shoulders, were white as an aspen covered with hoarfrost. All her clothing was gray, and she was never seen without her great dun-colored shawl, which was drawn closely around her shoulders. Bera washed her great shawl in the sea, for there was no lake big enough for the purpose. 3 days before the Queen of Winter began her work, her servants made ready the water for her. And on the 4th day, Bera threw her shawl into the whirlpool and tramped it with her feet until the edge overflowed with foam. When she finished her washing, she laid her shawl on the mountains to dry. And as soon as she lifted it up, all the mountains of Scotland were white with snow to signify that the great queen had begun her reign. Each winter she reigned as queen of the 4 red divisions of the world, and none disputed her sway. But when the sweet spring season drew nigh, her subjects began to rebel against her and to long for the coming of the summer king, Angus of the white steed, and Bride, his beautiful queen, who were loved by all, for they were the bringers of plenty and of bright and happy days. It enriched Bera greatly to find her power passing away, and she tried her utmost to prolong the winter season by raising spring storms and sending blighting frost to kill early flowers and keep the grass from growing. Bera lived for hundreds and hundreds of years. The reason she did not die of old age was because at the beginning of every spring, she drank the magic waters of the Well of Youth, which bubbles up in the green island of the West. This was a floating island where summer was the only season, and the trees were always bright with blossom and laden with fruit. The waters of the Well of Youth are most potent when the days began to grow longer, and most potent of all on the first of the lengthening days of spring. Bera always visited the island on the night before the first lengthening day, that is, on the last night of her reign as Queen of Winter. All alone, in the darkness, she sat beside the Well of Youth, waiting for the dawn. When the first faint beam of light appeared in the eastern sky, she drank the water as it bubbled fresh from a crevice in the rock. It was necessary that she should drink of this magic water before any bird visited the well and before any dog barked. For if a bird drank first or a dog barked, ere she began to drink, dark old Bera would crumble to dust. As soon as Bera tasted the magic water, in silence and alone, she began to grow young again. She left the island and, returning to Scotland, fell into a magic sleep. When at last she awoke, in bright sunshine, she rose up as a beautiful girl with long hair yellow as buds of broom, cheeks red as rowan berries, and blue eyes that sparkled like the summer sea in sunshine. Then she went to and fro through Scotland, clad in a robe of green and crowned chaplet of bright flowers of many hues. No fairer goddess was to be found in all the land save Bride, the peerless queen of summer. As each month went past, however, Bera aged quickly. She reached womanhood in midsummer, and when autumn came on, her brows wrinkled and her beauty began to fade. When the season of winter returned once again, she became an old and withered crone and began to reign as the fierce Queen Bera. The aged Bera was fearsome to look upon. She had only one eye, but the sight of it was keen and sharp as ice and swift as the mackerel of the ocean. Her complexion was dull dark blue, and this is how she sang about it. Why is my face so dark, so dark, so dark, oh ho, so dark, oh he? Ode in all weathers I wander alone, in the mire, in the cold, ah me. Often on stormy nights in early winter, she wandered about singing this sorrowful song. Oh, life that ebbs like the sea, I am weary and old, weary and old. Oh, how can I happy be all alone in the dark and cold? I'm the old Bira again, my mantle no longer green. I think of my beauty with pain and the days when another was queen. My arms are withered and thin. My hair once golden is gray. 'Tis winter, my reign doth begin. Youth summer has faded away. Youth summer and autumn have fled. I am weary and old. I am weary and old. Every flower must fade and fall dead when the winds blow cold, when the winds blow cold. The stories of Beara are how the ancient Scottish people explained the magnificent landscape they lived in and the forces that created it, weaving legends with the weather and land that shaped their culture and communities. We honor Beara now on this darkest Yule night. May you be wrapped in her thick shawl and be held gently in her strong arms as we weather winter gales together. Thank you.
Thank you, Georgette. And yes, winter solstice is a time that's magical. We connect with ancient traditions and old stories, as we've heard. But winter solstice is the eternal now, and it evolves into the future. And so on this longest night, we connect with some newer traditions with one of our other Circle Sanctuary ministers. So welcome, Eldridge.
Hello, happy solstice, everyone. I'm Reverend Eldridge, a member and minister with Circle Sanctuary. I use he, him pronouns, and I live in College Park, Maryland, near the US Capitol, here in the ancestral and current home of the Piscataway, the Anacostia, and the Pamunkey. Tonight, I'll share briefly about some modern Yule traditions in my local pagan community that nurtured me coming out as a gay man and as a proud pagan. The DC Radical Fairies here in Washington, DC, and Stone Circle Wicca USA, based here in Maryland. Over 2 decades, we've had a winter solstice tradition of, just like everyone, sharing good food, good friendship, wonderful meals, and time together. I have learned a few songs that I've shared over time and shared them with my Circle Sanctuary community through Enchantment Camp. I'm wondering what traditions you have established in your family and community. Here's a bit more about mine. Our spoken word traditions have included an occasion of hosting a very, very festive retelling of The Snow Queen by Hans Christian Andersen, but in a very theatrical and very campy way. Come see it sometime. Or create your own. We also host an annual public reading of an invocation called the Peen to Winter, Paean, the Peen to Winter, that was written for Yule of 2005 by our very own Jonathan White. This is an oratory in a classical style, a triumphal eulogy of praise to winter. And ours speaks of ancient and modern mysteries of Yule, again, in a theatric and campy way. I encourage you to think about and establish and continue traditions that are near and dear to the heart of your community. Of course, we all of our traditions have songs that we sing that include many pagan carols with many pagan folkway origins. The most obvious, singing of Deck the Halls with its roots in Wales. There's so many to explore, but here tonight are 2 very short Yule song traditions unique to Stone Circle tradition of Wicca. I'll sing each twice. The first is called a soul cake, and you may spell it S-O-U-L, but in our tradition, we spell it the S-O-L, the soul cake, and we all have a cookie. And when we're all together, we get a huge sun-shaped shortbread cookie as big as a baking sheet will allow. And then we break off pieces and share it with each other. And here's the round we sing. It goes like this. A soul, a soul, a soul cake. Please, good friend, a soul cake. An apple, a pear, a plum, or a cherry, any good thing to make us all merry. 1 for me, and 2 for thee, and 3 to hang on the holly tree. A soul, a soul, a soul cake. Please, good friend, a soul cake. An apple, a pear, a plum, or a cherry, any good thing to make us all merry. 1 for me, and 2 for thee, and 3 to hang on the holly tree. And we sing it a lot until you get all the crumbs out of your mouth, and then you're able to keep singing. The other song that we sing is taken from an old tune that with just a couple tweaks felt like very pagan and very appropriate for the season. Its official or formal title is called Hail the Blessed Morn, See the Great Mediator. And we would sing it in more of a kenning that matches the yearning for the sun's return, especially when you're sloshing about and buried in snow and cold. Here's the song. I'll sing it twice. We call it Hail the Blessed Sun. Hail the blessed sun, shining dimly in winter, down from the regions of glory descend. Gathered we ask for thy blessed returning. Follow our yearning and liven the land. Lo, for a guard the bright stars do attend thee. Dawn through our darkness and lend us thine aid. Star of the east, the horizon adorning, come to our hearts where our bright hopes are laid. Hail the blessed sun, shining dimly in winter, down from the regions of glory descend. Gathered we ask for thy blessed returning. Follow our yearning and liven the land. Lo, for a guard the bright stars do attend thee. Dawn through the darkness and lend us thine aid. Star of the east, the horizon adorning, come to our hearts where our bright hopes are laid. Blessed be, and know that we need to sing and dance so the sun will actually return. If we don't sing and we don't dance, the sun might not return. Blessed be, everyone. Happy winter solstice.
Thank you, Eldridge. Well, clearly, holly is something that's been connected with winter solstice time since the most ancient of times. It was a favorite decoration of the Saturnalia, the ancient Roman pagan celebration leading up to the winter solstice. And it also is an important Yuletide plant across traditions, and you'll find in Old England the Holly King and the Oak King. And there are all sorts of carols that mention the holly. Deck the halls with boughs of holly, which Eldridge mentioned is one of them. The holly and the ivy is another one. And the idea of decorating our homes and our public spaces with greenery that remains green at this time of year has symbolized the continuity of life. And one of the real powerful things about greenery is that it connects us with that vegetation realm. And the vegetation realm has mysteries that we can delve into. The time of growth, the time of slumber. And another important thing about Yuletide greenery is being able to recognize the interconnectedness of all life. And as we move from this old solar year represented by the holly, we move into a new solar year represented by the oak. Sometimes the oak has it in the form of an acorn, and sometimes it's in the form of a golden acorn. So as you see holly and oak decorations connected with this holidays season, know that they're multicultural, they're across time, and they're teachers about our connection with nature and the cycle of the seasons. Well, we journey now from the East Coast, where Eldridge is, to the West Coast, where another Circle Sanctuary minister is, who also is an eco chaplain. So welcome, Andrew.
Well, thank you, Selena, and happy solstice, everyone. This is Reverend Andrew Bear, coming to you from the Monterey Bay coast of California, traditional homeland of the Ohlone and the Amamutsan. And I'm going to invite us to travel together on the words and images of a poem called Winter's Way, written by Anastasia Nutt. And I think that this poem captures this time of winter solstice, this time not of enlightenment, but of endarkenment, when nature is withdrawing into a time of peace and slumber within the body of the earth. So I invite you to journey with me now. As life above recedes into bone-white roots, twisted deep through soils frost-hardened, I follow their descent into my own, unknown, coiled, and content. From the living land above to the living land below, all life returns to discover the secret seed of promise. Here too go I, through tracks dipped thin upon hardened ground, beyond conscription's misconception, I tie myself to winter's fallow loom, threadbare and ice-kissed, to breathe, to sleep, to dream. So mote it be.
Thank you, Andrew. And now, through the wonders of gathering in cyberspace, we go to the middle of our country in the USA, and I welcome another Circle Sanctuary minister, Judith, who also helps us with graphic design. Welcome, Judith.
Thank you, Selena. It's good to be here with you all this evening on this winter solstice eve. I'm Reverend Judith, and I am calling in from Chicago. This is a song called Yule, which I edited a little bit, which was originally by Lisa Thiel. Enter the night and you'll find the light that will carry you through to your dreams. Enter the night, let your spirit take flight in the field of infinite love to envision peace for us all. On the longest night, we search for the light and we find it deep within. Open your eyes to embrace what is wise and see the light of your soul shining in. Enter the night and you'll find the light that will carry you through to your dreams. Enter the night, let your spirit take flight in the field of infinite wonder to envision peace for us all. Wrap up in the cloak of starry darkness, and you'll find the center of all things. For from this space of the deepest dark place, eternal life returns in the spring. Enter the night and you'll find the light that will carry you through to your dreams. Enter the night, let your spirit take flight in the field of infinite grace to envision peace for us all. So when you find that spark, when you dream in the dark, hold it close to your heart and know all that you see is all that can be when you give birth to your most divine dreams. Enter the night and you'll find the light that will carry you through to your dreams. Enter the night, let your spirit take flight in the field of infinite strength to envision peace for us all. On the longest night, we search for the light and we find it deep within. Open your eyes to embrace what is wise and see the light of your soul shining through. Enter the night and you'll find the light that will carry you through to your dreams. Enter the night, let your spirit take flight in the field of infinite love to envision peace for us all. Blessed winter solstice, one and all.
Thank you, Judith. Winter is an amazing time. And one of the things that has been part of Circle Sanctuary's journey with winter is connecting with the land in practical ways and meditative ways to experience it through the cycles of the seasons. And one of our ministers that has been involved not only with all of our online things, doing our website and live streaming this off to YouTube, is Bob, who has also done quite a bit of work here at Circle Sanctuary Nature Preserve. So I welcome Bob to share some words about wintertime.
Hello, this is Reverend Bob Paxton, and I am here to I'm sorry, I have to get myself on screen there. I'm here to do a reading from Aldo Leopold's classic Sand County Almanac on January. Each year, after the midwinter blizzards, there comes a night of thaw when the tinkle of dripping water is heard in the land. It brings strange stirrings, not only to creatures abed for the night, but to some who have been asleep for the winter. The hibernating skunk, curled up in his deep den, uncurls himself and ventures forth to prowl the wet world, dragging his belly in the snow. His track marks one of the earliest datable events in that cycle of beginnings and ceasings which we call a year. The track is likely to display an indifference to mundane affairs uncommon at other seasons. It leads straight across country as if its maker had hitched its wagon to a star and dropped the reins. I follow, curious to deduce his state of mind and appetite, and destination, if any. The months of the year, from January up to June, are a geometric progression in the abundance of distractions. In January, one may follow a skunk track, or search for bands on the chickadees, or see what young pines the deer have browsed, or what muskrat houses the mink have dug, with only an occasional and mild digression into other doings. January observation can be almost as simple and peaceful as snow, and almost as continuous as cold. There is time not only to see who has done what, but to speculate why. A meadow mouse, startled by my approach, darts damply across the skunk track. Why is he abroad in daylight? Probably because he feels grieved about the thaw. Today his maze of secret tunnels, laboriously chewed through the matted grass under the snow, are tunnels no more, but only paths experienced to public view and ridicule. Indeed, the thawing sun have mocked the basic premises of the microtein economic system. The mouse is a sober citizen who knows that grass grows in order that mice may store it as underground haystacks, and that snow falls in order that mice may build subways from stack to stack, supply, demand, and transport all neatly organized. To the mouse, snow means freedom from want and fear. A rough-legged hawk comes sailing over the meadow ahead. Now he stops, hovers like a kingfisher, and then drops like a feathered bomb into the marsh. He does not rise again, so I'm sure he is caught and is now eating some worried mouse engineer who could not wait until night to inspect the damage to his well-ordered world. The roughleg has no opinion why grass grows, but he is well aware that snow melts in order that hawks may again catch mice. He came down out of the Arctic in the hope of thaws, for to him a thaw means freedom from want and fear. The skunk track enters the woods and crosses a glade where the rabbits have packed down the snow with their tracks. Newly exposed oak seedlings have paid for the thaw with their newly barked stems. Tufts of rabbit hair bespeak the year's first battles among the amorous bucks, and further on I find a bloody spot, encircled by a wide sweeping arc of owl's wings. To this rabbit, the thaw brought freedom from want, but also a reckless abandonment of fear. The owl has reminded him that thoughts of spring are no substitute for caution. The skunk track leads on, showing no interest in possible food, and no concern over the rompings or retributions of his neighbors. I wonder what he has on his mind, what got him out of bed. Can one impute romantic motives to this corpulent fellow dragging his ample beltline through the slush? Finally, the track enters a pile of driftwood and does not emerge. I hear the tinkle of dripping water amongst the logs, and I fancy the skunk hears it too. I turn homeward, still wondering.
Thank you, Bob. And clearly Aldo has been an important thinker and doer, not only in our community and throughout Wisconsin, but around the planet. One of the amazing things about winter solstice time is the bardic tradition of creativity. There's many manifestations of the divine, and I invite one of our community bards to share a new song with us. Welcome, Maren.
Thank you so much, Selena. Greetings of the longest night to you all. I am singer-songwriter Maren King, and I'm coming to you from Ocala, Florida, USA. Tonight, Ellen, the deer mother, the guardian of the ways, carries the newborn sun, the moon, and the tree of the world in the protection of her expansive antlers through the darkness and into the springtime. This song is for her. Finally, the time has come all through the world. The reindeer and roe deer and elk spread the word. Go forth, find pieces and sparks of the light, and bring them to Ellen, for she flies this night. Dear mother, run through the night. Horned mother, great mother, safeguard the light. Dear mother, forge the path true. Horned mother, great mother, life lives through you. Through the long darkness, through wood, sea, and stone, she nestles the new sun in velvet and bone. Deep in her antlers she carries a star, the moon and the world tree held safe from harm. Dear mother, run through the night. Horned mother, great mother, safeguard the light. Dear mother, forge the path true. Horned mother, great mother, life lives through you. Night fires to guide her, the lamp lights to shine. Warm smells drifting, hot wood, butter, cakes and spice. Music and laughter floating on the wind bolsters the long flight of our great mother hind. Dear mother, run through the night. Horned mother, great mother, safeguard the light. Dear mother, forge the path true. Horned mother, great mother, life lives through you. Dear mother, run through the night. Horned mother, great mother, safeguard the light. Dear mother, forge the path true. Horned mother, great mother, life lives through you. Ellen, great dear mother, all life lives through you.
Thank you, Maren. And yes, the dear mother is honored across a number of cultures at this time of year and throughout the year. And one of the powerful things about celebrating winter solstice and solstice as a whole, we connect with the greater community that is around our planet. Different cultures and faith traditions, different names and forms of the divine that we resonate with, and solstice, winter solstice and summer solstice, powerful time for blessings, magic, intention. And I invite into our longest night, Circle Sanctuary minister, podcaster, tarot reader, speaker, a priestess of many talents, who's going to take us on a magical journey. Bona Fortuna. Welcome, Laura.
Hello, everybody. Buena fortuna, indeed. Buena fortuna para todos. And just making sure everything is going okay. Yes, it all is going according to plan. Thank you. Multitasking here. How fortunate I am to be multitasking. So let me start from the beginning. My name is Laura Gonzalez. I'm in Chicago. As Selena already said, a priestess, a tarot reader, a minister, a podcaster. And I am also a very, very devout follower of Goddess Fortuna. And if you hear this before, I'm sorry, you're gonna hear it again. I was very, very young when somebody told me, never say you're lucky, always say you're fortunate, and Goddess Fortuna will always be with you. And I have since a child, since very young age, followed her. I have learned, you know, what is a Mexican doing with a Roman goddess? Well, the Catholic Church brought in, the Roman Catholic Church brought in all these ancient goddesses disguised as saints and most importantly as superstitions. And Fortuna, you know, is being called Lady Luck in many, many places. You know, oh yeah, you're so lucky because good fortune is on your side, in a way of almost like karma. But what I have learned since I've been a devotee of her is that she is both respected and sometimes feared because she could go either way. She could be buena fortuna and she could be mala fortuna. Of course, good fortune and bad fortune. So how do you deal with that? Well, in my opinion, such is life. Such as the wheel of fortune, such is the rhythm on which the seasons move, and such is the nature of nature. And we are now celebrating the longest night, and with good fortune, we will come to the side of light and brightness. And with that said, I wanted to share something that I shared many, many years ago with artist James Webb, who put it on a multilingual, multicultural, planetary piece called Prayer, and he invited me to be part of it. So this very prayer has already gone around the world. And New Year's is the one thing that all humans do together. And I think it's such a magical moment to concentrate on good fortune. And as we are gathered here tonight, I would like to share that prayer with you all. I'm going to read it on Spanish first, and then I'm going to read it on English. And I want to tell you, I brought Goddess Fortuna to be with us today, but I brought the Goddess Fortuna from my altar. She never moves, but today she's here to share with you. Con las bendiciones de la diosa Fortuna, que tengas buena fortuna en tu camino, que tengas salud, riqueza, amor, integridad y brillantez, bendiciones de abundancia y prosperidad en tu vida. En nombre de la diosa Fortuna, como así lo deseo, que así sea. With the blessings of Goddess Fortuna, may you have good fortune on your path. May you have good fortune. May you have health, wealth, love, wholeness, and bright blessings of abundance and prosperity in your life, in the name of Goddess Fortuna. As this I will, so mote it be. May we all be blessed, and here the coins are already coming your way. receive, be grateful, and thankful. Many blessings to us all. Somorebi, Tlazokamati, gracias.
Gracias. Thank you, Laura. And we have more magical music from another one of our bards in the Circle Sanctuary community. Welcome, Chris.
Let's try that again. Good evening, everybody. My name is Chris Eldridge. I'm coming to you from Oshkosh, Wisconsin. I've been a member of the Circle community for a good long time, and tonight I'm sharing with you a song, but it's also, I want to share a little bit of a memory. Back many moons ago, I was part of a community that created the Christmas Rebels for my community where I was living at the time. And if you can imagine, the Christmas Rebels is kind of like a Renaissance fair at Christmas time. And the stories that were shared were the Christmas stories or the St. Nicholas story and all those stories and all those traditions that came out of medieval Christmas time. And this song came from France. It's a French carol. It's called Patapon. But I want you to keep in mind as I'm playing this image. As part of that Christmas Rebels, at the very end, the high priestly king-like character and the tiny little youth sprite came to the front of the hall and processed out. Well, they processed for a little bit. And about halfway down the aisle, they started dancing and skipping down the aisle. So imagine them in your mind skipping to this song.
Thank you, Chris. And also joining our longest night is my soulmate and partner, also a Circle Sanctuary minister, known as Dr. D or Dennis. Welcome.
Thank you, and hello everyone. Happy Solstice. We've heard many inspiring words and music here tonight. So as we begin, let those words and the inspiration from them settle into your mind as you shift your focus to your body. And I invite you to become as comfortable as you can in the position that you're seated or perhaps lying down. And we've been sitting here for a while now. In my estimation, it's been a little over an hour. So if you need to kind of move around a little bit to get comfortable, and kind of work the kinks out a little bit, now would be a great time to do that. And in focusing on your body, just focus for a few moments on the points of contact in which your body's being supported, be it in the chair, on the bed, however your body is being supported. Focus on those points of contact. Your feet. Focus on your feet and what's supporting your feet right now. And experience your feet being relaxed. And your legs, your thighs, how they're being supported right now and being relaxed. Your torso, the midsection of your body. Your seat as you're seated or lying down, the support there. Your back and how it's supported by the chair, the bed, however you're positioned. Those areas being relaxed as well. And feel that relaxation extending out into your arms and hands as they might be supported right now. And feel that relaxation spreading up through your neck and into your head as that's supported by your body, or perhaps the chair or bed as well. Focusing on those points of contact, imagine yourself settling into those points of contact, your body becoming heavier and settling in and relaxing into those points of contact. Your body being very grounded and centered in this place. And now switch your focus to your breath. Just focusing on your breath in and out as it's naturally occurring without trying to change it for a few moments. And in focusing on your breathing, I invite you to just try to slow down the in-breath and the out-breath a bit. And if it's accessible to you, try to lengthen that out breath just a tad longer than the in breath for a few moments. And I also invite you, as that out breath is happening, savor that moment at the end of the out breath. And in savoring those moments, feel yourself connecting deeply within yourself. Allowing your focus now to move within. That breathing is helping us connect to the deeper parts of ourselves. And experience within the warmth, the stillness, and the quiet. The darkness within. The peacefulness. This feeling of being settled, grounded, centered, and at peace within our own bodies. And in tuning into our own bodies in this way, we experience a bit of that eternal here and now. Also sense the ways in which that inner stillness, quiet, darkness, and peace also exists around us in the world at this time of year. As we're moving into the longest night, we experience the profound connectedness of our bodies with the body of the earth and of all of nature around us. Peace, stillness and quiet, warmth, connectedness, alive in the eternal here and now of all of nature. Hold these qualities within yourself as we move now to a working for the longest night.
And in the quiet of this longest night, reflect on a wish for yourself. As we birth the new solar year, might be a word, a phrase. Focus on that for a few moments. What do you wish to emerge for yourself in this new solar year that is being born. And in a way that's right for you, according to your own tradition. Call on Source, the sacred. It's one or many. To guide you in having this manifest for yourself. And give thanks to the sacred forces you are working with. Holding your hands up, draw down the power of the longest night. And in this 2021, the moon is still shining very full. Full moon shining that solstice sunlight, and draw that into yourself. The magic of longest night for yourself. So be it. And now I invite you to join with me in some magic for others on this longest night. I kindle this candle for healing amongst humankind. May the pandemic that we are dealing with be dispelled. Healing to all with COVID. Healing to the caregivers of those with COVID. Chaplains, doctors, nurses, healthcare workers, first responders, counselors, all those who are caregiving during this pandemic. Healing and support to those researching cures. Support to those who are doing best practices in hopes of helping dispel this pandemic. Healing to those who are doing the vaccinations. Healing to those who are endeavoring to have correct information go out about the pandemic. Healing for those in need. Healing to loved ones of those who have died with COVID. Healing to all impacted by this pandemic. healing to humans, healing to the creatures, healing to our whole planet. May the pandemic be dispelled. May we find ways to care for each other, to work together for a healthier world and for a sustainable world. Healing to those in need. Healing to all of us. Healing and wellness. Healing and wellness. Healing and wellness. So mote it be. And I have an image of planet Earth. And inside this image is a rainbow pouch. And inside the rainbow pouch is a crystal, a clear quartz crystal that literally has gone around the world. And the image on the front of the pouch is that of the Parliament of the World's Religions, which gathered once again this past October. And for the first time since it emerged in 1893, was reborn in 1993, and has been in many countries since that time. We were online because of the pandemic. So with this crystal, with this rainbow pouch and symbol of interreligious convergence and collaboration, and with this image of the earth, I invite you on this longest night to send love, support, truth, peace, well-being to humans, to ecosystems, to creatures and plants, to our whole biosphere, and including those humans that are in the International Space Station that is also part of the orb of planet Earth. Healing and wellness to planet Earth. Healing and wellness to planet Earth. Healing and wellness to planet Earth. On this solstice eve, longest night, and in times to come. So mote it be. Aho, Amen, Ashe, Namaste, Salam, Shalom, blessed be. And on this longest night, I invite you to kindle a candle, or if you have one handy, and if you don't have one handy, imagine that you have a candle that is being lit. Entering into this longest night, entering into the birth of light, entering into the longest night, entering into the birth of light, entering into the longest night, entering into the birth of light, entering into the longest night, entering into the birth of light. Imagine that you are glowing with light, that we all are connected with the light of solstice time, the light of the solstice sun, the light of the sacred sun, whether it's in the sky where you are or not. Solstice sun, shining bright, shortest day and longest night. Solstice wish of hope and cheer, peace on earth throughout the year. Let us take from our time together our experiences with words, music, quiet, reflections, and connections. Let us know that we can be connected in inner space and cyberspace until such times when we can gather face to face. And as we all hold our candles up here, we give thanks to this sacred circle. We give thanks to the north, the east, the south, the west, the planet beneath us, the heavens above us, the spirit within us and around us. The divine is one and many, as great mother, great father, divine child of light, great mystery, great spirit, the sacred earth, the sacred air, the sacred fire, the sacred water.
I guess Selena Fox had so much energy on her that she got thrown off the internet.
There's always opportunities to problem solve and surprises on a solstice night. So we will be shining bright on this solstice night. And it's so wonderful to be with all of you. So yes, I've never had that happen when I've taken down a circle before. So let us take a bit of this light of our longest night into ourselves as we go forth into this new solar year. And though it's time for this circle to be open, it's never broken. Merry meet, merry part, and merry meet again. We wish you a merry solstice. We wish you a merry solstice. We wish you a merry solstice and a happy new year. Happy solstice!
Happy solstice!
Happy solstice!
Happy
Solstice.
solstice! Thank you all for tuning in.
Blessed solstice. Thank you. Okay.